Hi everyone, my name's Evonne Britton and I'm joined today by Aline Tisato. Welcome Aline.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Eileen's got quite an interesting story to share with us. So Aline, do you want to start off just by telling us a little bit about what you do?
Yes. I am a physical therapist, an acupuncturist, a shiatsu practitioner. I also use Tuina in my work. I am a Qigong and Tai Chi instructor too.
Okay. How did you get, what's your story? Like, how did you get to be, to learn all of these things and to teach them?
Right.
It's what I find in many interviews, that many people who now teach things have, come from they have their own kind of like story of sometimes chronic health issues or
Yes,
something.
absolutely.
Is that your
That's
case?
exactly what happened to me.
Okay.
Yes, when I was around 17 years old, I started having chronic back pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a few doctors and they thought it was something structural. And I did have some kind of very mild scoliosis. But after a while, I realized by observation that there was something else going on. I also had a lot of bad digestion and some emotional stuff too. And by the time I was 20, I was in really, really bad shape. I was always catching colds. I had sometimes pain in my shoulders, inflammation in my wrist. And of course, with the bad digestion, my intestine didn't work very well. I had migraines. And then I kind of, in going through my studies in the university, where I was studying physical therapy, I thought there was something else. It wasn't just about a bad posture or muscle weakness or weak immune system. There was something else related to my organs. And luckily, a book of shiatsu fell into my head, between brackets, in the library of the university, and then I kind of started searching for it. So I found a Japanese master, and then I started studying Oriental medicine. That was my first thing, was through shiatsu. Then from that, there was a cascade of let's say, doors opening, all into the road of more Eastern kind of approach. So I started practicing Tai Chi and Qigong, and gradually start seeing the change in my body. Then I finished university and decided to go deeper into shiatsu, went to live in London. And then I studied London. In London, I studied at the European Shiatsu School for 2 years, graduated from there. Start learning a much deeper system of Qigong, which really make a huge difference in my spine and my digestion. A very kind of a part of the internal martial arts with Chris Chappell, a fantastic teacher, fantastic master. Then I carry on searching for more, went to California, studied with Bruce Francis, with Either Ware too, in New York. And also with Frank Allen. Then I started doing other things a little more advanced, because gradually, as my body became strong and I stopped having pain and I just regulate my digestion completely, I then start looking how to get stronger. And I start doing some more kind of advanced stuff. But everything started from a point of being very weak and fragile. In terms of, I used to be very fatigued, to a point of feeling strong like an Amazon, and all of that regulating what I didn't understand in physical therapy, because there wasn't that kind of a component, regulating the chi flow, the dielectricity flow in the body. And of course, by doing that, the physical body took another shape, a stronger shape, a stronger muscle, a healthier attitude to life. And so a little bit of my story there.
It's amazing because it's almost like the opposite way round from what tends to happen to people when you're young. You feel energetic and strong, and then as you get older, it decreases. But for you, it's been the opposite, no?
It has been the opposite, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So how would you describe your day-to-day life now, you personally? Like what do you do on a day-to-day basis to incorporate all of these learnings?
What do I do to incorporate all of this now?
Yeah. You personally, like you wake up, what do you do?
All right, okay, yes, right. Yes, I am, throughout the years, I working with a lot, I worked a lot with people with chronic pain or chronic discomfort or chronic, let's say, diseases.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the majority related to psychosomatic diseases, such as fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, etc. So I saw that wasn't really easy to teach them some more elaborated exercises of the internal systems I've learned. So I managed to develop a very simple sequence of exercises which has the internal components of these systems, which have the healing properties of this system, but in a much easier, simpler way of doing, lying down on bed every day. So I start my day like that every day myself. And it's basically a way of pumping your system, because you do stretch, but it's more than stretch, you lengthen the fascia of the body. But there is some other components that make literally you pump the fluids inside, and that wakes the body up and free the motorways. As one, I have a friend that told me that your work is like freeing the motorways. So you get out of the bed already with a different shape, or let's say a different attitude to the day. Yeah. And my patients and my students say that if I don't do it, I feel the difference. And so I start a day like that. Then after that I do a minimum of half an hour of Qigong, standing Qigong, and when I have the time, I do the long form of Tai Chi too. And that's it. So before I go to sleep, I also go through some 3 exercises just to release whatever tension I might have built up, to keep the nervous system in a good place. And basically that's what I do. Of course, I look after what I eat, and when I work, I also let's say I keep the amount of energy, because this kind of work, Evonne, is as you do it, you get a very you can get a very good reading of how your batteries are. Okay, yeah. So by having that capacity of sensing the nerve system, you can really adjust, in this system that I use with my patients, and after a while, after the practice, after embodying the practice, they realize what something called the sweet spot is. The sweet spot, yeah, I call the sweet spot. Some people call the 70% rule, which is where you function in a range of 70% of range of movement when you do the movements, or you eat just 70%, or you're going to exert a posture for getting something on the floor, or you listen, okay, no, I can handle it. I am within the range of comfort. And that, by applying that, you save enormous amount of energy. Yeah, you must do. Yeah. So you stop leaking chi, leaking life force. It's a very profound and refined system, but it's not complicated, because it's a methodology. So you learn with the letter A, you make the B, the A and B you carry on building up, and by repetition, and it doesn't take too long. You just embody the knowledge that comes with it. Okay. And Aline, can you tell us what kinds of clients have you had, and how do they progress with your
method. Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about the variety of different issues that people come to you with?
Okay, excellent. Yeah, good question. I have a range of like different, clients. I have people that come to me just for stress. I have people that come to me because they are flat, their batteries are completely flat, and with these severe diagnostics. I have people that come to me with a hip uh, arthritis, and I have people come to me with period problems.
Or fertility also? Have you had people with fertility?
I had worked with fertility too, yes, in the past. Yes. But, well, the thing is fertility, what you really want to do is regulate the human cycle. By doing that, you provide all the internal conditions for pregnancy.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what we do in Chinese medicine. You regulate the period, all the phases, they have different characteristics. And once they are there, the conditions are favorable for pregnancy. Yeah.
And what about anxiety, Eileen? You mentioned stress. Do you find many people with anxiety?
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, yeah, anxiety is a big one. Huge, huge. Also because there is something very interesting, because like more than like 56% of people that have fibromyalgia, they have a digestion, anxiety is related to it. And basically in Chinese medicine, the nutrition you get from food, especially when you are in development, you really kind of it kind of shapes the person you're going to be. Because diet is a big deal, because by having a good digestion, your system produces a good amount of juice. When I talk about juice, it's like qi blood in the meridians that are the ones responsible for these emotions, because we do have the emotions. We have the emotions. We all have, and we have them all. But the problem is when you become blind to them, when they're too strong. When they're too strong, they make the system get into a short circuit. So the whole, let's say, electric installation of the body, I'm making analogies, it gets out of place, so the whole idea of this work is by adjusting where there is little energy in the body, we kind of fill it up. Where there is too much, we kind of disperse. And I do that with my patients by teaching them, by showing them where the problem is, how it manifests in the body, and I teach them tools, not just for the IGung exercise, which is the method I developed, but is really my basic tool. A lot of my patients use the IGung in the morning, and they get benefits straight away, because it really helps to balance these flows in the body, which are a little out of whack. And but I also teach them breathing. I also teach them how to stimulate certain acupuncture points, but with different tools. It can be a tennis ball or their proper hands, and or stimulate a specific point with moxa stick. Or so they learn that by cultivating their garden, as I say, like I tell them, now you're gonna go into your room and you're gonna close the door. You're gonna look at your garden. Because I make a lot of the times analogies that the body is like a terrain, like the earth, and we have different layers of minerals, earth or sand, of like a sheet of water. So all these have to be in harmony, and the water has to nourish the different tissues of the body. So when an acupuncture point or these life points, like life force points, are blocked, they have to be released. They have to be released in order to nourish the tissues, the physical tissues of the body, so the Shen, which is the mind and emotions, they get a little more settled. That's the way it works in Chinese medicine. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying, but...
No, it does, and it's really fascinating. And I was just remembering many years ago I did I think it was a Qigong class with you one, I think it was a Saturday morning, and it was, I'm really fascinated by it, about how it didn't seem like that complex, or like you're doing, it's quite slow moving, but the feeling that I had when I came out was like really relaxed, but I felt like I'd had an internal massage,
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it does. It's exactly what it is. That's because it pumps inside. It pumps the very small movements. And the whole idea of the practice is to make one feel full and relaxed.
Yeah, it's a really nice experience.
Yeah.
And tell us about the tennis ball, because I have done that one in the past as well. What's the thing about the tennis ball?
Yeah, it's a major tool for me, for my patients, because, for example, we have the back shoe points of the spine, which are major acupuncture meridian. It's a major acupuncture, the IGung is a major acupuncture meridian that runs through the back of, beside the spine. And they basically, these points right beside the vertebrae, they are major points. They are connected straight to the organs, the internal organs. So by working on them, you basically stimulate in the functioning of the organs. And is a lot of the times patients come to my office, to my consulta, as we say in Spanish, and they have like points. They are almost like sucked in completely, like almost like they froze, or some of them are too, let's say, stagnated, popping out. So there is a whole imbalance in the chi flow there. And that's really, it's just, they also alarm points, they call alarm points. So they basically points that make you, they represent how the organs are, really. So by using the tennis ball, and I associate I teach them how to place, where to place the tennis ball, and how to use one of the IGung movements to really dissolve the tension and open that flow.
So I've done and I was just looking to see if I had I'll do look, a tennis ball handy. It's from my daughter. I've done it on my foot before. So would you, do you teach people how to place it like directly on their back also?
Yes. There is a specific point to do it, because of course the points are not on the spine, and they are not right beside the little 2 fingers outside the spine. And of course, depending on the condition, some points are going to be more vulnerable, more fragile, or more full than others, or stagnated than others. So I can teach them to put in a specific points, like the liver, for example. The liver point is why, see, if you find the blade, the scapula, so it's right at the level of the lower tip of the scapula.
Okay.
And as you go in, so the liver point is right there.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right? Around the thoracic 9 is the position. The dorsal vertebra 9 is around that level. And a lot of people have them very blocked. So for example, and the kidney point is very important further down the lower back. And by teaching them how to do it, how many times, depending on the condition of which they do it, it's like having me in their home working on their points. So by doing that and using the whole movement system, it helps the body to keep pumping.
Okay.
Because when people have like a imbalance, a long-term imbalance, the body kind of learns that as a pattern and tends to repeat that pattern.
Yeah.
So we need to kind of create a new cycle. And my whole approach is how them, or how you, or how one can learn how to maintain that new cycle open and flourishing. So it's a whole way of doing it, and it requires some commitment, but it's not like too much, but a little bit of commitment, of course, because the whole nerve system has to understand the self-image, not just by the way you look, but the way you feel inside.
Yeah, it's new.
So it's a lot about using the sensory abilities and how to find this new place and remain there in the sweet spot.
Yeah, you knew. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good to be here. Feels all right. Okay, all right. I found the point. When I'm seeing the point, it's not just the ball, but it's not just, but it's really in myself. Okay, here I feel a little more comfortable. Things are more balanced, and I can cultivate this state of mind and body, and acknowledge that too. Because the acknowledging it helps you to change the self-image.
Yeah, and I suppose when you go off balance during the day, then you know what that comfortable spot is. So when you come back to it, you can recognize it. Also, you know how to get back.
Exactly.
What was the exercise with the foot, where you put the ball in your foot? What does that do? Does that one feels just like you're having a massage?
Yes, that's something else I recommend to my patients too, especially the ones I feel that need that. Well, the ball and the feet is really, you place the ball right at the middle of the foot, in a standing position, and you kind of roll, like standing. You roll exactly the ball back and forth, exactly, and that will kind of soften the fascia of the sole of the feet. In my approach, it's very important to have comfortable feet and a good quality of the tone of the feet, so it can sustain your posture. Because if your feet is hard, and if you have knots in the sole of the feet, unconsciously you might even not feel that the feet has a knot, but you won't step with pleasure. Your walk won't be pleasurable, and that naturally creates tension in the neck, mainly in the neck. Yeah. So by having that, you create DUMS. You know what I mean? You already messing up with your whole system, and with a simple technique of softening the feet every day. And I prescribe also that for people that with fibromyalgia. I prescribe the IGung exercise and the tennis ball on the feet 3 times a day. So the body start building up this overwhelming stress, and then you slow down. It's like I make a sound to my students and my patients for them to understand how is the mind in a body full of stress. The mind is like this. If I could make a sound, it would be like zzz. And then by doing these techniques, which I sometimes I make fun, I call the chill out moment. They come so basically they learn how to tune their body. It's like tuning an instrument.
Okay.
It's like you tune you tune yourself. So everything vibrates inside and outside, and resonates better. Oh,
I love that. Aline, 2 more things before we finish. Can you maybe share some examples of some of your clients, how they've improved their health using your methods?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, it's like in my list I have so many that I don't know which one to pick now. Let's see. It's funny, I remember the more recent ones. Well, I have one I'm going to tell about a older client of mine. He was 62, and he had a very, very severe hip joint waist, right? He had arthritis in the hip joint, and he couldn't really function anymore. He didn't have fun. He walked 200 meters, he had to stop. The doctor wanted to operate him. And then his sister-in-law told him about me, so he came to my office, and I kind of evaluate him, how his ligaments were. So I I slowly taught him that how he would have to move his hip while doing exercises. Because he would go to conventional physical therapy and they would overstretch him. They would really overstretch him. So the ligaments, then the tendons of the hip area, they kind of were loose. They didn't have enough juice or strength to support the joint. And his knees were in a very kind of, we call varo knee, which is the knees out like this. So that will affect the position of the femur inside the pelvic bone. So we worked for 4 months, two sessions a week. He learned all the sequence of the bed. He learned how to move, how big were the movements, because we want to rescue the bounce back of the ligaments. And not there's the outgoing, the outstretch, but the inner, how to kind of get the spring back again. So we worked a lot on that. He stopped doing the conventional thing, so kind of because it would be a little, let's say, contradictory to kind of stretch because his insurance wants to give him the conventional physical therapy.
Yeah.
So he kind of stopped for that for a while because again he was given a shot, and then I taught him the postural IGung. The postural IGung, which is that more advanced part that I teach for those that are willing to learn and for those who really need, because some people just stay with the basic IGung or with the tennis balls and everything else I teach, and I treat, of course, because with my hands I produce that in their body too when they come to my session. But then he learned the postural IGung, and he basically managed to sort himself out. Through the methodology, he learned how to maintain space inside his joint by aligning the body, and how to use the gravity to create something called biotensegrity, which is like a floating sensation of the joints. But it's a whole thing. Basically, it's really when you learn internal martial arts, you learn how to push the opponent by refining the alignment within the joints of the legs. It's very beautiful and very powerful, and that makes you very strong. Makes you very strong, health-wise. Of course, I'm talking about because I don't really use for martial application. I use the martial knowledge or the internal components, which is basically a postural method. It is a postural method. How to apply that in order to generate health, but in that stage is to make you strong. To be honest, it's really to make you strong to learn then this advanced part. But I had other patients, so he didn't need to go to surgery. He's fine now, but he practices every day.
Every day, yeah.
He practices every day. He keeps that, his spaces, he kind of know how to do it. I had other patients with fibromyalgia that came with the tone really completely messed up. Like the beginning, I could, when I first touch the person's, the patient's body or feet, I can really, sense how blocked the whole system is. I don't need to go over I just touch a little bit of the foot and I can tell how messed up is the body. So with people with migraine, people with fibromyalgia, whole package, insomnia.
It's normally a package, yeah.
Pain in the body, and of course fatigue. So by teaching them, first of all, how to release this nerve system, this tight, blocked nerve system, with the lying down IGung. So they kind of learn how to do it. This internal massage you mentioned, kind of they know how to do it themselves. Then I teach them how to use the tennis ball on the feet and on the spine. So that slowly makes the body juicier and becomes easier to sleep.
Yeah.
By freeing that shit that's trapped in blood, naturally the person slowly builds up more energy, and because the blood is flowing better in the nighttime, it's easier to the mind to quiet inside and basically, well, as you say in Chinese medicine, the heart resides the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So in the nighttime, the mind goes, the shen goes into the heart and sleeps. Because the blood is not moving as much. The blood is strong and it goes to where it has to go. And the mind kind of, as a magnet, kind of fuses with the body and rests.
Wow.
Yes, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
really nice.
that I had a few patients with fibromyalgia that basically came out of it, slowly stopped taking the
medication.
allopathic medication, and keep on doing. They keep on doing the exercise, the tools I gave to them. Yeah.
It must be amazing for you to do that as your job.
Yes.
Aline, I don't think we mentioned in the beginning, but you're originally from Brazil. You've lived in many different places, and you're now based here in Barcelona. Can you tell people where they can find you?
Yes. Well, I'm based in Barcelona. In Barcelona, I worked in Gracia, and in my pueblo, which is basically a neighborhood of Barcelona, Pueblo Novo. And I also teach sometimes in Brazil and sometimes in New York. And they can find me my website, which is alinetisato.com. And they also can find me on Facebook, Aline Tisato's IGung method.
Okay. And you are developing an online program, aren't you, Aline? You're working on.
I am. Yes, I am. I'm going to release the IGung videos in 2019. I'm gonna teach online. I also already give some consultations online for people that I used to teach in New York, or I have also some people from Ibiza, some people from Rio that found me through word of mouth. So I've been also teaching already, sometimes giving some consultations, but from 2019 on, I'm gonna be teaching. I'm gonna be providing all these courses online, and also giving consultations too.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds great. Thank you so much for joining us today. That's been really fascinating. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you. It's
I
great.
really enjoyed finding out about all that. So thanks, Aline.
Okay, thank you, Evonne. Yes, I see you soon. All right. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.